Hey guys, so with the announcement that Awakenings Wave 3 are coming to global here in 2 days, I just wanted to go over the characters and what they'll be getting with those extra 10 level crystal levels. So this article I'm actually going to be using was created back in January of this year for the JP version of the game, but it's a really well written article and it has detailed descriptions of all the changes that the crystal levels give to each character. So I'll just be going through it real quick and kind of reading off it, giving my own thoughts. And after I go over all the individual characters, just kind of, laying out the information, then at which point then I'll then dive into who I'll be awakening and why, and kind of get into my own thought process and everything. So with all that being said, let's go ahead and get started. So the first character I'll be going over is Lightning. So at crystal level 54, she gets a buff boost. When a buff's given to self, increases own max brave by a small amount. Lightning is always buffed. She's always giving herself buffs, whether that be her commander or her ravager, unique buffs, or attack up or brave regen or whatever. So that'll always pretty much be in use. Spark Strike extended at level 55, gets an extra use of Spark Strike, increases the power, increases the max brave up from the blaster buff, extends duration of buffs given by 2 actions, which is awesome. So that's going to be 5 turns, I believe, with her 15 CP and her 35 CP. And then the best part is while Blaster is active, well, Ravager. So while Ravager is active, HP attack is going to turn to HP attack plus, which then will add Brave to her attack depending on her attack. I'm sorry, will add Brave to herself depending on her attack, then unleash the HP attack. So she can now, if, so say you're 2000 Brave short of your max Brave, if you use that and your attack is high, 3 attack 108s, artifacts and lightning or whatever, you're going to be able to close that gap. And lightning can really, do some nice damage now. Makes up for her low attack power comparatively to, say, Cloud or Terror or whatever. So that's really nice. Her level 58 passive increases brave damage dealt when consecutively using abilities. That's what Lightning does. She already has, what's crazy is she already has abilities that increase her speed when she's using abilities consecutively. So now this is another one. So if you thought Lightning was stealing turns before and fast, man, this is this is a whole new world right here. She's gonna be just flying all over the place. And while a lot of players really don't like that about her because of how often she steals turns, and how in co-ops that makes it kind of a bad experience, I think in solo play she's a lot of fun, and being able to manipulate turns and jumping ahead and being quick. I feel like if you have her well equipped, she is just one of the funnest characters in the entire game. I love her. And I'm not even being biased here just because she's waifu number 2 for me. I just think that she's amazing. The only unit I like using more than her is Jex. But I think those 2 units are just a lot of fun. So then her her Crystal 60 then, Flourish of Steel Extend, gives an extra use to it. So it increases the brave damage, increases the effect of the max brave up and attack from Commando, and extends the duration of the buff by 2 actions. And then while Commando is active, it's going to change her brave attack to a brave attack plus, which, I guess it's better than nothing, right? But now, because Ravager gives the HP attack plus, you kind of have a reason to stay in that mode. Whereas before, more often than not, at least in my experience, I never really wanted to be in Ravager. I would go into Ravager, get the Brave regen, and then I would immediately switch out to Commando, just because Ravager, Commando increases your attack, increases your, your max Brave and all that, and Ravager has different effects. And to be more DPS oriented, I would always just go with Commando. So there's actually now a reason to stay in Ravager with her HP attack plus, which is really nice. So the next character on the list is not Sarah. She was bumped for Hope. Sad. I'll go over Hope in a minute here. Goodbye, Sarah. Okay, Squall. So this is probably the character that most people are most excited for in this awakening. So if you didn't know, Squall is about to turn into an AoE monster. He really needs his 15 CP and his 35 CP passives to operate correctly. He does not need his EX. His EX is a complete bonus. The EX is actually pretty underwhelming. It's just a straight, just DPS flurry on a single enemy. Nothing too crazy. You know, it gives a buff, but there's no overflow on it, and it's just kind of a subpar EX. It gives some longevity in fights. You know, don't get me wrong. It's nicer to have it than not, but he certainly doesn't need it to be at his full capacity. So his level 54 crystal level, when a buff's given to self, increases max brave and attack by a small amount. You know, again, he's always going to be buffed. It's really not a problem. His level 55 solid barrel extend, so adds an extra usage, increases brave damage, and when using solid barrel plus, which is when you're under the int brave requirement, increases the brave damage. The final hit will be AoE, so it hits the entire party. And then after the final hit, if your own brave is more than 80% of your max brave, it adds an HP attack to it. Oh my gosh. So you're pretty much guaranteed, if there is more than one enemy, to cap at brave or be really close to it, because of that final hit being a splash attack, which means you're guaranteed to then launch a pretty much full brave HP attack right afterwards. Just amazing utility there. So his Awakening 58, level 58, when a buff's given to self, increase on speed by a large amount. So Squall used to be pretty slow. He had some high turn rate moves, but generally was regarded as pretty slow. Now with this, he's not slow anymore. He's pretty quick. And then level 60, this is where he brings from the bacon, okay? This is what makes Squall the Cycle Quest king, the farming king, the AoE king. So level 60 adds one usage to Renzokuken. When using Renzokuken, increases brave damage by a small amount, increases the brave damage, and spreads 50% HP splash damage to other targets. So I'm going to give you a scenario here. So say that you have 20,000 max brave, and you use Renzo on one enemy, and you get your max brave all the way up to 20,000. So you hit the one enemy you targeted for 20,000 damage, and he has two minions standing next to him. Those two minions are going to take 10,000 damage apiece. It's insane. So unlike other attacks, so like Kuja's Ultima splits damage. So say he does 20,000 damage, and there's three enemies, it's going to be split three ways. So that's going to be what? Like, I don't know. I'm not a math expert. Like 6,000 something, whatever. You know what I'm saying, right? Okay, so it's gonna be like 6,000 whatever to all three. Squall says, nah, no, that ain't my game. So he does the 20,000 to the one enemy and then 10,000 to the other two. This makes Squall the first splash damage character aside from Yang, but Yang is really low. I think Yang's splash is 25% to other enemies. Yeah, Squall's is 50%. So Squall he's pretty insane. He gets used for a long time. Very, very popular support unit. He's amazing at clearing out trash waves efficiently. He shines in AoE fights. He can shave like crazy, do a ton of damage. And if you get his EX, then he shines in solo fights as well. Without his EX, he really, in my opinion, isn't suited to solo content that well. Just because I feel like you're leaving too much off the table, right? A lot of his potential is being able to hit other targets and to spread damage around and to crowd control. And I feel like if you take that away from him and you match him up against one enemy, you're losing a lot of what makes him great. He can still get the job done, but, it might be a better idea to bring somebody else. All this goes out the window, however, if you get his EX. Because like I said, his EX is a single target, just straight DPS, shaving, boom, HP attack. It's awesome. So Squall is great. All right, so the next one up is Onion Knight. Awakening level 54, Sage's Wisdom. When Sage buff is applied, increases all max brave by a large amount. Always nice. His 55 is Blizzard Combo Extend. Adds +1 usage to Blizzard Combo. So increases the brave damage, grants magic attack up self to self for 5 actions. Increases the effect depending on Sage buff, so the higher Sage buff is, the higher your magic attack is going to be, the buff. While Sage buff is active, normal brave attack turns into Blizzard, an ice elemental brave attack, which is really nice if you're versing an enemy with an ice weakness. And then upon reaching Stage 3, adds an HP attack to Blizzard combo. Very nice. Very, very nice. Level 58, Ninja's purpose. When Ninja buff is applied, increases own speed. So he likes to buff with his Sage and his Ninja. He can increase his max Brave and his speed. And then his level 60, multi-hit extend adds an extra usage to multi-hit, increases Brave damage, grants physics attack up to self for 5 turns, increases the effect depending on the Ninja stage, which is similar to the Sage, where his magic attack would go up depending on the level. And then upon reaching Ninja 3, just like Sage 3, it adds an HP attack. So Mr. Onion Knight gets a lot of utility. He gets turn economy. So before he didn't have an HP attack ability. Now both of his do upon reaching either Sage or Ninja 3, which is nice. Rem obviously has been replaced. She and Ace were swapped, so Rem's, we already know what Rem does, so skip. And then Zidane. So Zidane, level 54, ability attack high, increases Brave damage dealt when consecutively using abilities. So like Lightning, he gets a bonus from just constantly just going between Stellar Circle and Free Energy. His Awakening 55 adds 2 usages to Stellar Circle 5, so now that has what in global? I'm trying to think. It's either 8 uses now or 10, which is absolutely insane. When using Stellar Circle 5, increases the power, increases the rate of speed down, the effect of speed down. So you're not only getting it proccing more, now it's a higher speed down effect. Increases the effect of the speed up that he gives himself, and increases the effect of the max brave up he gives himself. So very, very nice. There's a lot going on in that 55. His level 58, if Own Brave is about 50% of max Brave, increases speed, which whenever you use Stellar Circle 5, that move is one of the best Brave Shavers in the game right now. I mean, he's going to be always above 50% max Brave if you use it. And then Free Energy Extend adds +2 usages. So, and then increases the Brave addition amount depending on his attack, increases the grant rate of defense down, the effect of defense down, increases effect of defense up on himself, and grants attack up to self for 3 actions. So Zidane, after his awakening, can do speed down, speed up, defense up, and he can raise his attack now with free energy. So he's no longer dependent on buffers for an attack up, and with the rates up, he now is a pretty reliable debuffer. So Zidane got a lot of changes that he really needed. So it's really nice. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and switch over to Dissidia DB. I will have this article, this Reddit post, in the description if you'd like to take a look at it for yourself. I'm going to switch over to Dissidia DB right now to look at Hope and the last character that I can't remember, Ace. Okay, Hope and Ace. All right, guys, let's see in just 1 second here. Okay, so while I was actually looking up Hope information, I actually found this article on Reddit.com. It was an evaluation done on Hope quite a while ago by a user named Mino Spelgud on the Reddit. He's a pretty famous subredditor on there. I'll go ahead and I'll leave a link to the post that this was posted in. But he actually goes into detail and gets into the numbers of what Hope's percentages are, which I thought were really nice. So at level 54, he gets Shell Speed Up, which moderately raises speed while Shell is active on self. So that's, Hope's main gimmick is throwing Protect and Shell up. So he'll be faster just by using one of his abilities, which is always nice. So his level 55 is Extended Shell, increases Shell's max uses by 1, moderately raises the Brave gain based on attack 60%, slightly improves Shell's magic damage reduction by 10%, and turns his HP attack into HP attack plus while Shell is active. HP attack raises allies' Brave based on HP damage dealt by 50%. So if you've used Awakened Rem, you know how that kind of works, where her level 60 passive does the same thing, where she HP attack pluses, and then your allies then gain the Brave based on how much damage you did. Hope gets the same thing, which is really nice because one of the biggest problems with Hope was he would reduce damage taken by the party, and that was it. He really didn't he really didn't battery really well enough to justify bringing him instead of a battery, and he has basically no offensive capabilities. So getting an HP attack plus just by using Shell is really, really nice. So his 58, his level 58 moderately raises attack plus 40% and max brave plus 40% while protect is active. So that's really nice. So while protect is up, he gets a max brave buff of 40% and an attack buff. The attack buff obviously isn't going to help him too much because he rarely attacks, but the max brave buff is certainly really nice. And so then the level 60 then is extended protect. So increases protect's max uses by 1. Moderately raises the brave gain based on attack, so 20%. Slightly improves protect's effect physical damage reduction, 10%. And turns his brave attack into brave attack plus while protect is active. Brave attack plus has attack 180% potency. So he goes from being able to barely do any damage at all to doing more damage with the Brave Attack Plus. Nothing to write home about, but at least, he can do something in a pinch now if need be. And then, of course, his HP Attack Plus, while Shell is up, that's the real ticket right there. So that's really nice. So that's Hope. All right, so then I'll be switching over to Ace here. Okay, and so here we are with Ace, the final character on Wave 3. So his level 54 Awakening increases his speed when card stock is at least at 1, which is really nice. Of course, that's his main gimmick is the card stocks, the cards. So you're pretty much always going to have at least a stock of 1, at least 1. So his 55 Burst extends, slightly raises the potency of Burst and moderately raises that of Mega Burst. So Mega Burst, which used to do a ton, now does even more. After Mega Burst, the card stock gets reduced by 2 instead. If Mega Burst is used when the enemy is broken or gets broken, the card stock stays at 3. So that is a huge change. So now, if you use Mega Burst, because before using Ace, because I used Ace a little bit back in the day, right after he debuted, before you really had to choose if you wanted to do a powerful Brave HP attack or if you wanted to do a powerful just straight Brave attack. That having to choose between the two often led to some problems because, of course, you always wanted to be doing Brave HP to get the fight moving along faster, do more damage, etc. But sometimes, the situation called for the Mega Burst instead of his other attack. And, going from your stock of 3 down to 0 or whatever it was, it sucked. So now, with this, you don't get penalized for that. If it's used on a broken enemy or the enemy gets broken, the card stock stays at 3. That's really nice. It gives Ace a lot more versatility now and allows you to consecutively chain together Mega Burst and then his Spiral Combo. Really, really nice. His 58 ability attack high slightly raises brave damage using abilities continuously. So just like Zidane and Lightning, if you just keep chaining abilities back and forth together, he's going to do more damage. And then his level 60. So Spiral Combo Extend slightly raises the potency of Spiral Combo and moderately raises that of Mega Spiral Combo. It raises the potency of attack up and extends its duration. After the Mega Spiral Combo, the card stock gets reduced by 2 instead. However, if Mega Spiral Combo is used when the enemy is broken or gets broken, the card stock stays at 3. This and his level 55 passives completely change how Ace plays. As I just detailed with his Mega Burst, now you don't have to really worry. As long as you're attacking an enemy that's broken or you're breaking them, you don't have to worry about your card number shrinking. That means Ace is always at optimum efficiency, optimum power, pretty much at all times, unless you're forced to attack an enemy that's not broken, which over the course of a fight could very well happen. But now Ace doesn't feel like he takes time to ramp up, right? Once you get him ramped up, if the fight goes the right way, he's going to be, stuck at full gear the whole time. So that's really, really nice. It really helps Ace out as a character a lot. So if you have any of Ace's equipment and you've used him, it's going to be like a whole different character. It's kind of like, it reminds me a lot of how Kuja is later on, where obviously Kuja uses his soul stacks that change. Once he's at soul stack 4, he gets Ring Holy Plus and Ultimate Plus. Well, Kuja, with his EX, it locks him at his Holy Stacks at 4, so he always has access to the Plus versions. Obviously, that requires an EX, and those attacks are stronger, but it's the same concept, where as long as you fulfill a condition, your character is stuck at, peak power, unless something, goes wrong. Well, in Kuja's case, nothing can go wrong. His attacks are always locked at the plus after his EX. But Ace, as long as you don't attack a non-broken enemy, he'll have access to his card stock at all times. Really, really, really nice. So thank you, Dissidia DB database, for being awesome, as always. So now that the evaluation, well, not evaluation, but the review of all 6 characters is up, I just kind of wanted to take an opportunity real quick to just get my own personal thoughts on each character and who I'll be personally awakening myself. So I'll just go ahead and go just down the list one by one and just kind of give my thoughts on each character personally. Now keep in mind, of course, that everything I just went over, all the buffs and all that, all of this is dependent on everything staying the same as it was in JP, which I do anticipate will happen. I don't anticipate them changing anything up too terribly much. So everything I'll be speaking about from this point forward is just going to be my own opinion. I don't claim it to be fact. I don't claim it to be, the what to do, right? This is my own kind of plan here moving forward. So with that being said, I think it's very fitting that I start with Lightning, who a lot of people don't think that she's very great and think that her awakening is pretty underwhelming. And as much as I love to use her, and as much as I want to tell them that they're wrong and Lightning is great and her awakening does a lot for her, they're kind of right. Her awakening is pretty underwhelming. Now, it helps her out a lot, giving her an HP attack plus, extending her buffs, giving her a brave attack plus. She gets some love. She gets even faster, which, as great as that is, being able to chain together abilities back and forth, she was already really fast to begin with, so now she's going to be even faster. She's going to be eating up even more turns, and of course, the biggest thing in this game is that speed kills. Speed is a good thing, but it's also a very bad thing, especially with how tight score requirements are about to get on EX stages. So, as much as I love Lightning, she's a very niche character, I feel like. You can use her in any situation, but I think her speed is going to be more of a hindrance more often than not, unless your other party members have enough DPS to compensate for them getting less turns. With all that being said, because I love her in this game, and, well, she's waifu number 2, which, by the way, I don't think I've ever said, but Riku from Final Fantasy X is my number 1 pride and joy. She's just tops. She's the best girl. So, yeah, she's number 1. But yeah, anyway, Lightning is number 2. She is DFFOO waifu because Riku obviously isn't in the game yet. I'm going to use her. I'm going to use her all the time. I can't wait. The biggest thing with her right now is that outside of a fight where the enemy doesn't have lightning weakness, she just doesn't hit very hard. She has speed to run laps around the other 2 people in the party, but she just doesn't have the power behind her. And with her awakening, it makes her a little bit stronger, increases her skill usage, which is nice. She doesn't run out as quick now. She gets the brave attack plus, the HP attack plus, all good stuff. Things that help her last longer in a fight, which is great because she really needs it because she goes so fast. So I know a lot of people are going to kind of gloss over this awakening, because it's underwhelming, and I understand that. And even with that being said, I'm just so excited. Just seeing her get revitalized and another chance in this game, it's really great. And then, of course, when her EX comes months down the road, oh my gosh, I can't wait. Her EX is so good. It's so good. It looks great. Gosh. I love her character in this game. I really do. So, yeah, anyway. So, a non-biased perspective would say her awakening is underwhelming. And they're right. But I don't care. I'm still going to use her. I can't wait. Next is Squall. I tried to be as unbiased as possible when I was going over his stuff, but I know I didn't come out that way because I'm just so giddy over him. His awakening does so much for him. He becomes the king of cycle quests. He becomes the king of farming. He cuts down farm times remarkably. He extends the value of double item books. He extends the value of all double books in general and triple books. He can AoE Brave Shave. He can AoE HP attack. He gets faster. I mean, there's so many things that Squall can do now, and he does it reliably. He doesn't have any gimmick aside from make sure that when you use one of his abilities, he's underneath that int brave requirement. Aside from that, the dude's nuts. And then to top it off, on top of everything else, he also has that EX, which, again, it's not a can't miss EX. It's more of a bonus. It's more of it helps him out, right? But it's not character defining. He doesn't need it to be relevant. As long as you have his 15, his 35 CP passives, that's really all he needs to just be just nutso, right? He does need those 15 and 35 passives, though, especially the 35, because the splash damage on Renzo is really, really, really good, and what he kind of is known for over the next several months. So, yeah, he shines in AoE fights, not so much on solo fights, unless you have his EX, in which case he's just good. He's just good. So yeah, I'll definitely be awakening Squall as well. I'm cutting it pretty close since I fully awoke Noctis, and who's the last one? This other black crystal person. Noctis and I don't know. I can't remember off the top of my head. Anyway, so I'm gonna be cutting it close, but I think that the crystals we'll be getting from the co-op quest with the awakening debut, I think I'll have enough to fully awaken Squall, which I pray I can, because he needs that level 60 awakening passive. So yeah, good stuff. The next guy is Onion Knight, which I think his awakening really helps him out. He really, being able to buff his own speed and his max brave, that's really nice. He, gets the magic attack up from Sage. So he really turns into a self-sufficient self-buffer. Really nice, and of course, because he has his Blizzard combo, he's a really good ice attacker. He's probably our best ice attacker right now. But the problem with him, in my opinion, is that his abilities still are not Brave HP attacks until he's at Sage or Ninja Stage 3. So he takes time to warm up. And I think that's a big problem, because, some boss fights, like Heretics, for example, you're right off the bat, you're in the boss fight. And so him taking time to kind of ramp up, I don't know. I really think it kind of hurts him a lot. And, I don't know. I'm really not sure on Onion Knight, because on paper his awakening looks really good. It really does. But outside of an enemy fight where they'd have a weakness to ice, I'm not sure I'd even bring Onion Knight. I don't know. And then, Papa Limo is coming in like 2 or 3 waves. And then he just blows Onion Knight out of the water. I mean, Papa Limo is just nuts. Umbral Ice hitting twice. Buffing himself, keeps the buffs even when he switches stances. But that's in the future. We're talking about right now. And I think Onion Knight, if you have him well equipped, I don't think he's a bad investment. I really don't. But I personally won't, because number one, I don't have any equipment for him. And number two, outside of those fights where the enemy's weak to ice, I just don't think he would outshine a unit such as Terra or Noctis or Squall or whoever, that in any situation they shine. So sorry, Onion Knight. So Zidane, I like Zidane's awakening as well. I think his Crystal 55 is really loaded. With his Stellar Circle, how all of his rates get the rates of inflicting, the speed down are increased, the chances of him getting the speed up are increased, all that hit, and the Brave Shaving, the power gets increased, the extra usage. Zidane really, his awakening helps him out a lot. And again, I'm not sure if his Stellar Circle 5 is either at 8 uses or 10. But either way, I mean, that's nuts. Like, that is a lot of ability uses. And every time he uses it, because it hits so hard, I mean, he almost caps out at Brave every single time, or at least pretty close. So I think that's really nice. And then, of course, free energy, getting the extra uses as well. And all his rates of inflicting status debuffs goes up, while his rates of increasing his own stats go up. And just a lot of good stuff for Zidane. He went from an unreliable debuffer that was really fast and could Brave Shave really well to a very reliable debuffer, very fast, and can Brave Shave very, very well. So yeah, Zidane looks really, really fun. I don't have any Zidane equipment, so I won't be awakening him. But I think if you have him equipped and you have the crystals, I think he'd be a good investment. Now, the only thing I would caution against is in the next wave, or no, I'm sorry, no, not even the next wave. Ash from Final Fantasy XII, her Lost Chapter is going to be appearing soon, and she's light blue as well. And Ash is pretty ridiculous. I'm not going to dive into her right now, but with her awakening, her second ability that always made her cap on Brave turns into a Brave HP attack. And Ash, she turns into a good, party buffer, and Ash is pretty good. So if you're low on light blue crystals, and and you have Zidane, you're thinking about Ash, maybe you want to hold off. I don't know. But Zidane is certainly serviceable, and seems like he'd be a lot of fun. So then we have up next Hope, and poor Hope. Poor Hope. I really think that with him, they tried to make a jack-of-all-trades character, similar to how the Final Fantasy XIII series worked, where you can make any character kind of do anything you wanted, as long as they had access to that class. And I don't think it translates that great here. While he does get a lot of buffs to his battery, his battery capability, scaling off his attack even more and all that, I don't know. He still can't Brave Shave very well. His battering is better, but if you're bringing him into battery, then why not just bring, like let's say, Lillicet or Yuna or Eiko or Rem or geez, in 2 weeks or even a week even, I don't know at the time of this recording, but we're going to have Selphie, and then after Selphie, Kate Sith, and those two battery like they have a gun to their head. They're just, that's their thing. So, okay, so he kind of does battering well. What else does he do? Well, of course, he does damage mitigation, which, if you guys have been playing since Vanille's Lost Chapter debuted, his Protect was pretty much required when the Lost Chapter released to even have a chance at that, because it was just insane. The Red Giant did so much damage. Or Berserk Giant, or whatever the hell they were called. Anyway, so he can mitigate damage. Okay, that's really nice. But again, why, if you're bringing him for that, why not bring a tank, right? Warrior of Light, just off the top of my head, he can provoke, he can reduce damage, he can protect your party with Shining Shield. He makes it so that instead of taking reduced damage, like Hope does, you take no damage. While also, of course, doing the provoke thing. Now, Hope does have the HP attack plus, while Shell is active, which is really nice. That really does help him out, and I think does give him an argument to be used, certainly. But again, he just kind of seems like they tried to make him jack of all trades, and he's the master of none. And so when you have that situation, the argument then becomes, why not just use the master of one? And a game that requires you to be as fast as possible, I just feel like bringing a character that does a couple things, but none particularly well, I just think that you're kind of crippling yourself in the long run. This game, those score requirements are just going to keep going up. Just how tight they are and how strict. And while Hope, he can do some nice things, and with a 35 CP, he gives the party a speed up effect, which is really nice. But I think ultimately, he just doesn't get the job done. He just is inferior to dedicated batteries. He's inferior to tanks for damage mitigation. I mean, Hope is kind of in a rough spot. I don't think he's as terrible as I've seen people say. I've seen people say some rather awful things about him. but I definitely don't think he's worth the white crystal investment at all. And then for the last character, Ace. Wow. Talk about being reborn again. I mean, his awakening just does so much for his character. Again, as long as he attacks an enemy and he breaks them or they're already broken, he stays at peak efficiency the entire time. He doesn't lose his card stock at all. I mean, that's amazing. That helps Ace so much. It gives him so much versatility. It gives him so much durability in the fight. I mean, no longer do you feel like you're bringing a gimped character that sometimes is great. Now, as long as you do the fight correctly and don't get screwed by bad RNG, sometimes they come out of break, on your turn and, you can't break them or whatever, high max brave, whatever. As long as situations like that happen, he's going to be doing awesome. So I really think that if you have Ace equipment, you should awaken him without even a second thought. He just sounds so fun. I mean, I'm kind of kicking myself that I don't have any of his equipment. Hopefully I can rectify that situation with the magic banner. That'll be releasing when Awakening 3's kick off. But yeah, so I definitely give a thumbs up to Ace. So me personally, I'll be awakening Lightning. I'll be awakening Squall. Skip on Onion Knight. Skip on Zidane. Skip on Hope. And as much as I'd love to awaken Ace, skip on Ace because I just don't have anything for him. But I think overall, this awakening wave, it's a pretty good wave. There's really not a big stinker among the bunch. I mean, I suppose probably the worst one is Hope, but again, he's not as horrible as people would have you believe. And having access to that HP attack plus where batteries the entire party even further, I mean, it's pretty nice. So, yeah, I really think that this awakening wave is kind of a defining moment in DFFOO's of lifespan, just because we're seeing the advent of Squall and the AoE attacking. Ace is his character is completely reworked, basically his mechanics. It's every character that's in this wave got an awakening that helps them out a lot. And I think really that's all we can really ask for from these awakenings. They shouldn't be making every single character into this colossal broken monster like they did with Terra. With the meltdown chain extension, the meteor extension, all that. But we don't have a super duper monster like that in this wave aside from Squall, who now is just AoE, just master. But I feel like this wave is really good, and I think there's a lot here that can appeal to people and players. So, so hopefully you guys enjoyed my evaluation and preview of what's to come. If you'd like to let me know in the comments who you'll be awakening and whatnot, then please do. I'd love to hear it. I feel like I was pretty fair to my analysis on the characters. I try to give them all a fair shake. I don't think there's any real stinkers in this bunch. And I'm pleased. I'm glad that at least with this batch, Square Enix really seemed to kind of get it right and has helped every character out a lot. So, yeah, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you made it this far, I thank you so much. I know this is a long video, so I really appreciate you taking the time out to listen. If my voice sounds like it's quivering, it's because it's really cold outside. I'm currently recording this outside of my car because it's actually quiet in here. I had to move outside about halfway through. Because apartment life, man, it's really loud sometimes, and it sucks. But anyway, so, yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching. And if you enjoyed, consider leaving a like or subscribe to follow along and see what else I upload. Hopefully, hopefully this video was informative and help you guys make the right decisions. So yeah, I will see you guys in the next video. Until then, take care. Happy awakening, ning. And yeah, good luck on your Awakening 3 banner draws, which if they debut Von ZX, oh my gosh. Yeah, ooh, that is one strong EX. Wow. Good luck, guys. Anywho, yep, I'll catch you in the next video, guys. Take care.